Harry Hurst-Grover will start on pole position then with Bartek Filipiak alongside. Sam Ardolino and Melissa Adrian row 2. Max Shields and Curtis Latimer are going to be on the third row in front of Sam Stoner and Nicholas Ellis. Morgan Hudson-Brown and Jacob Dukes with Lizzie Mentier and Jaden Hewitt on row 6. Tom Holden starts 13th alongside Ollie Naylor with Jacob Stott and Oliver Green completing your runners. Having a quick look into the live chat comments. Thank you for everybody that has got in touch in the last 10 or 15 minutes. We've been commenting in there as well with a little bit of trivia regarding Hooton Park and its original uses before they decided to put a kart track on it. Formerly RAF Hooton Park. So they make their way round then in junior Rotax. Hurst-Grover leading them round in the 14 kart. Rolling start, they'll come through. All about getting round the first corner, which was a bit of a problem in junior Rotax last time, as we had at least 3 drivers facing the wrong way. Ardolino, though, off the second row, gets a good start, and I think we're having a roll round at least if Max Shields is there, if we're going to believe him, and it does pop up at the top as a false start, and we are going to give that one another whirl. So Ardolino is going to have to do it again as he allows one driver through. Hurst-Grover's going to have to try and find a way through the rest of the pack here. And the problem is, obviously, when you've got to predict the driver in front, also you can't risk running into anybody, because even if you get a drop down in terms of your front fairing pushing in on the rolling up lap, it still counts at the end of the race. You can't stop and put it back into position or anything like that. So you don't want to have any issues on this rolling up lap. Through they come, though. They seem to be much tidier in terms of being in the tram lines. Away we go, and Ardolino once again tries to get to the inside, although this time can't move through. We've got Jaden Hewitt bouncing over there, and when the field reappear behind the dust cloud that he's kicked up, we'll see that he's dropped right the way down towards the tail of the field. Jacob Dukes finding a way past Maximus Shields and up into 4th place, I think. It's the rest of the field. Nicholas Ellis is out there on the grass, and that's going to stop Lizzie Mentier from moving through to the inside. So as everybody settles themselves down, it normally takes a lap or 2 in the Rotax classes for everything to be everything to settle itself down. Hurst-Grover leads over the line, but Ardolino finds a way through at the first corner with Filipiak, then Dukes and Max Shields in front of Latimer, Stoner, Adrian Holden, Naylor, Hudson-Brown, Mentier, Ellis, Oliver Green and Jaden Hewitt in front of Jacob Stott. They are your 16 runners in this junior Rotax heat number 2. 3 heats and a final. Ardolino leading now from Harry Hurst-Grover. Jacob Dukes up into 3rd place in front of Bartek Filipiak. Then Max Shields. Then there's a gap back. Tom Holden trying to find a way past Melissa Adrian. That's for 9th place, although he can't get through and has to slot back in to position. That could allow Ollie Naylor at least to come down the inside. He gets the job done 2 or 3 corners later, and now Melissa Adrian gets forced very, very wide by Morgan Hudson-Brown. And then Lizzie Mentier's getting involved there as well. There's a little tap on the back from Mentier. Don't know if it's going to be enough to cause the front to drop down on Mentier. So they make their way up and over the line to commence heat number 3. Ardolino now with a gap of 0.4 of a second to Jacob Dukes, who's found a way past Harry Hurst-Grover. This is the move once again from Tom Holden, this time down the inside of Curtis Latimer. That moves him up into 8th place. In front of him now appears to be Ollie Naylor. It is there, driver of the 85 car. Ardolino continuing to lead the way and opens up the gap ever so slightly to Jacob Dukes. Morgan Hudson-Brown down the inside of Latimer. Latimer's going to go wide. Mentier looked like she was going to get a run, but then there was snap oversteer. Once again, Mentier the fastest driver on track, though having to come from deep in the field. Gets 1 overtake done down the inside and 2 on Morgan Hudson-Brown. And Lizzie Mentier with a double overtake moves her up from 11th into 9th place. The kart coming good with 5 minutes remaining. The gap, though, at least 4 seconds to the lead, and she's got overtakes to do as well in the middle of this race. And she's got a good gap, though, now to Curtis Latimer, I think, or to Tom Holden. So you're going to need a couple of good laps to close up that 1.7 second gap. The leading quartet, though, from Ardolino down to Filipiak, fairly balanced at 7/10 between them. Then there's a second back to Maximus Shields in 5th place. So we see Naylor on the back of Sam Stoner with Tom Holden, the top of the sandwich, in 8th place. Keep an eye out on whether Mentier's closed up. The gap was 1.7 on the previous lap as Naylor pops out. Personal best as well for Mentier, Hudson Brown and Latimer on that previous lap. Now Tom Holden will come to the inside. Stoner to the inside of Max Shields, who's fallen back into the clutches of this 3-kart train. Lizzie Mentier only takes a 10th out of the battle in front, but now that battle in front is becoming a proper battle. As we saw in the final last time, it really does allow her to close right up if those in front are battling, and she closed up at a rate of almost a second a lap in the previous race. Stoner then up into 5th, Shields down into 6th, Holden makes up a place as well, he's up into 7th place, with Naylor down into 8th. You see Shields coming to the inside, defending a little bit to Tom Holden, carrying the speed. Ardolino then still leading the way from Jacob Dukes, with Hurst Grover and Bartek Filipiak the top 4. Then it's the 4 behind of Stoner, Shields, Holden and Naylor. Then Lizzie Mentier trying to close up, but dragging Hudson Brown along as well. Is closing up. It's 1.5 now. I think it's going to be about a second as she sets another personal best with a 35.7, as does Nicholas Ellis, although he is down in 13th place, struggling, as we mentioned at the start of the show, as we've had a change for the lead now with Jacob Dukes down the inside of Sam Ardolino into the hairpin, and Ardolino is off on the destination tyre wall, unfortunately for Sam Ardolino. Wheel on the grass, and it just wasn't stopping. He feels he was forced onto the grass by Dukes on the inside, and Sam Ardolino, who's led most of this race, is off into the tyres and will drop all the way down, I think, to at least 14th place when he comes over the line. Dukes, though, leading now from Hurst Grover and Filipiak. It's a 1-2-3. With Stoner, then Holden has found a way past. Lizzie Mentier's down the inside of Max Shields, who was strong in the early phases but has been dropping back ever since around lap 5, and will drop now outside the top 6. Mentier down the inside. Hudson Brown looked interested as well in finding a way through. Over the line with sub 2 minutes now. Ardolino did indeed drop down into 14th place, just in front of Jacob Stott. And off we've got there Hudson Brown, I think, and he's off into the tyre wall as well. Another driver there that was forced off the track and just couldn't stop as he got onto this very, very dry grass. And Morgan Hudson Brown, at least by the time he got to the tyre wall, he was going fairly slowly. But that's going to drop him out of 8th place. Dukes continuing to lead then from Harry Hurst Grover and Bartek Filipiak. That is Hudson Brown, who's just managed to find his way back out of those tyres, rejoined the circuit. The leading trio, though, will be coming through in a few moments to find a way through the lap traffic in front. With 55 seconds remaining, so they will come through. They're going to get at least 2 more laps in here in Junior Rotax. We're down to 45 seconds as they make their way through, and Hudson Brown does indeed peel into the holding area at the end of the lap. 30 seconds for Jacob Dukes. I think they may well even get round to add 2 more laps onto this one. Stoner in 4th. Mentier has come through up into 5th place. That kart handling very, very well after the first few laps. It comes good on sort of lap 3 for Lizzie Mentier. It's going to give her a lot of confidence going towards the finals, because they are an extra 4 minutes. It's a 12-minute final as she comes down the inside of Sam Stoner. Stoner with a look over the shoulder to the right twice. And Lizzie Mentier moving through from her 11th place start up into P4. 4.5 seconds or so behind the leading trio. So we're not going to have her challenging them as they are the time at the top elapses. And the last lap board will be out when they cross the line this time. More lap traffic in front, but I'm not sure they're going to catch it in the midst of this race. Confirmation on the screen then that Mentier and Stoner have swapped places. She'll come into shot in a few moments' time in the background in that mint green car. Dukes with a quick look over the shoulder, but in all honesty now, Hurst Grover looks more preoccupied in defending that second place to Bartek Filipiak, and does so into the chicane section. Filipiak not close enough to make a do-or-die move into the final corner. Out of the final corner, though, comes Jacob Dukes. He crosses the line to take victory. Jacob Stott moves out of the way and allows them to come through. That's going to save him doing one more lap because he's taken the checkered flag. Dukes with the victory then from Hurst Grover and Filipiak in front of Mentier, Stoner, Naylor, Shields, Latimer, Ellis and Tom Holden. Was supposed to be coming through, but he's dropping away all the way down the order. Ellis in 9th, Hewitt 10th, Adrian Ardolino up into 12th place. Tom Holden in the number 87 cart. Where is that machine? It's been shown as one lap down as everybody else comes through to take the checkered flag. So either we've not had a transponder pickup, we'll keep an eye out for the 87 coming through, or we've had Tom Holden retire on the final lap here at Hooton Park in heat number 2 for junior Rotax.